Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling Review series for August 4th, 1990. Unfortunately, we don't have as many of these as I would like to have in terms of complete seasons, but we do what we do, and most of August is complete. August 4th, we're less than a month away from SummerSlam currently. That's kind of awesome because SummerSlam is, I would say, the second biggest event of the year at this point. I'd say the Rumble takes over as second biggest within, I don't know, by 92 maybe. But in 1990, SummerSlam's still it. Rick Rude opening up first with a match against Scott Colton. Rude with body slams early, and Bobby Heenan, of course, there. We are waiting for the Ultimate Warrior Rick Rude cage match at SummerSlam, which, of course, Warrior wins. Kick to the midsection by Rude. Rude still manages to be super on point. Hits the neckbreaker 1, 2, 3, and we get a victory here. Again, Rick Rude, probably one of the top heels of the time. Then we move into a match with Rhythm and Blues, and I honestly, to be completely honest with you, I'm surprised by the amount of time that Rhythm and Blues got in terms of a push on television. I didn't remember them being as pushed as they were here. Obviously, Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine had been teaming as far back as 1989, but they revamped the team and get more serious in 90 here. Back elbows, real basic stuff. Honky Tonk Man, obviously a former Intercontinental Champion, and we see back suplex by double back suplex by Rhythm and Blues. We start to see an interesting push for Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter brings out a military weapon, gun of some kind. I'm not a gun enthusiast, so I don't know enough about it to say. But anyway, he is berating Nikolai Volkov for his American support, and the support that Americans are giving Volkov also a big deal. The Boy Scouts of America, which to me is just goofy. Boy Scouts of America give Volkov some sort of medal. Again, I'm anti patriotism angles in pro wrestling because if you are a national or global, actually global product, then why do you need nationalistic angles? I don't get it. I never have. I never will. It just doesn't make sense to my brain. Global products, you should stay away from nationalistic angles at all costs. We move to the event center, and Rick Martel, the model Rick Martel, against Superfly Jimmy Snuka is upcoming. And then we see a push towards Hercules and Hillbilly Jim also upcoming. The idea that Hercules has in fact turned heel here with Paul Roma, Power and Glory. Shocking to me that Power and Glory maybe gets an 18-month run. And they are pushed super hard here. Of course, hype for SummerSlam 90 is here. We don't have a challenger for Mr. Perfect at this point. We'll run through all the matches. They're pretty hyped about the idea of a Sapphire and Sensational Sherry match that obviously never happens. Earthquake promises to get rid of Hulk Hogan. Tugboat managed to be taken care of by Dino Bravo, or at least that's the promise. Hogan says that he is in fact back and ready, willing and able to destroy anyone who gets in his way, including the Earthquake and Dino Bravo. Tugboat says he'll handle Bravo. Hogan can concentrate on Earthquake, then off we go. Warrior yammers on about having challenges from Rude, not being intimidated by the cage. He's wearing a bit of a bandana and a little bit of war paint, less paint than before, or less paint than average. Then we go to a Jake Roberts match. Roberts also another guy who surprised how many enhancement matches he gets here, although he still remains for at least another, I don't know, half year, 8 months, 10 months, something like that, maybe a little less than a year, a major baby face, and um, a big deal. Roberts obviously gets the clothesline and the DDT. Obviously, he is also facing off against the winner of the opportunity at Bad News Brown at SummerSlam. Again, this only the third SummerSlam, and all these years later, pretty major. The three members of Demolition are on the Brother Love show. Up next, Axe Smash and Crush. They talk about a little bit about having to face the Hearts, and also begin to talk about the Legion of Doom. Because we move into right after SummerSlam, the Legion of Doom feud, Axe and Smash and Crush against Animal and Hawk. Lots of one-word names there. And obviously Demolition kind of the opinion that they are going to continue to be the world champions going into things here. Playboy Buddy Rose and the Texas Tornado Kerry Von Erich up next. I'm pretty sure this is just a rehash of the Saturday night's main event match. Partially because the Saturday night's main event bulletin is hanging in the background, and because they do cut to it, I'll run through it here. Hip tosses by Von Erich, and again, it's a bit of a series of body slams does Von Erich. Von Erich, of course, winning the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam, which wasn't really seen at the time. Rose gets dumped out onto the floor, and the claw and the spinning discus punch. We move to the event center. The event center leads to all three members of Demolition, Axe, Smash, and Crush talking about an upcoming match with the Hart Foundation and Jim Duggan as their opponents in an upcoming house show. Dusty Rhodes talks about the distractions that Sapphire is receiving, the gifts that she is receiving, talks about getting rid of and handling the Macho King once and for all. We do come back. Sapphire gets a necklace, or has a necklace, and is talking about a worldwide cruise and how excited she is to have received such. Obviously, didn't see it coming, but it is there. The advent and the beginning of Power and Glory here. Of course, Power and Glory, Hercules, and Paul Roma. They jump into their first real feud with the Rockers coming into SummerSlam. Big drop kick by Roma. I would say that the Power and Glory run probably the best of Roma's career, certainly in WWF, maybe ever, because his WCW stuff might be, the fact that he won the Tag Team Championship was pretty wonderful. Probably ranks it a little higher, but I think in terms of being known, Roma and Hercules probably known worldwide a little bit better. Backbreakers by Roma and the running clothesline by Hercules. Well, actually, whipped clothesline, but he might as well have been running. Hercules hit you like a horse. Anyway, the continuation, the heels dump their adversaries to the outside, and again, the win for Power and Glory, the Superplex Splash combination, probably one of the most underrated and most liked but undervalued finishes of tag teams in the era, or any era, as a matter of fact. Anyway, we move to the event center. Boris Zukov and Nikolai Volkov going to have a flag match upcoming. The Hearts talk about, Hart and Jim Duggan talk about getting rid of Demolition 3-on-3. Let's just run through this upcoming card as we close the August 4th edition of Superstars here. We are reminded Boston Garden August 18th, and that is, I believe, a Saturday night. And Boston was a major town for them at this point, though maybe not as big as obviously Madison Square Garden, but just running through the matches really quickly here. In a couple of weeks, and we have Hillbilly Jim and Hercules, Superfly Snuka and the model Rick Martel, Demolition and Hacksaw Duggan and the Hart Foundation, and then we move to Nikolai Volkov, Boris Zukov in a flag match, and Dusty and Sapphire versus Macho King and Sensational Sherry Brother Love as the corner person for Dusty, Elizabeth as corner person, or corner person for Savage and Sherry, and Elizabeth corner person for Dusty and Sapphire. So that is your close for today. We'll be back with more right after this.